Hello and welcome to Retro Reviews, my channel where I review my favorite retro video games of all time as well as some modern releases I have recently finished. And welcome to Smash Saturday, where I talk about all things Smash related until we get a new Smash game, whether that be Smash 6 or Smash Ultimate Deluxe. And today, thanks to a user comment suggestion, SalemAndMug, I'm going to be talking about Jigglypuff today. I want to talk about Jigglypuff in Smash Ultimate primarily, but I also want to touch on her other competitive games that she's been a part of here, her competitive viability in the other Smash games as well. So in Smash 64, she was a very respectable middle-of-the-road B tier at number 6, right above Mario. So very respectable, but had a huge bump up in Melee, being number 3 on the official tier list, and even at some points being considered the best character in the entire game by some of the community members, even top players, because of how well Hungrybox ran the scene. In Brawl, she got a significant amount of nerfs that put her all the way down to 36, and being like one of the worst characters in the game, only being above Zelda and Ganondorf. In Smash 4, she fared even worse at number 54, the bottom of the tier list, below Zelda and Ganondorf this time, as the worst character in the game, and even worse, as a character who never got a single balance patch in the entirety of Smash 4's history, which a lot of people really took issue with. And then you jump to Ultimate, and the most recent official tier list, she is sitting at number 60, which the number has gone up, but since there are so many characters in Ultimate, this puts her in a C+ tier. This is definitely the best she has been in quite a while. Since Brawl and Smash 4, she was so abysmal and just not viable in any way, shape, or form. It's nice to see her in a much better state. So let's kind of talk about where Jigglypuff has been in Smash Ultimate and how she got to her current iteration. So at the very beginning, Jigglypuff was an okay character. I think most people wanted to see her above substantially going into Ultimate. She was not. There weren't a whole ton of changes. She was fine as a character, but most people considered her to be pretty low tier, or like maybe at the bottom of the mid-tier category. That is until she got some buffs. So let's talk about the different buffs she got. I believe in the first patch, she ended up getting like a buff to like her Final Smash, which I'm not going to talk about here. Final Smash stuff doesn't concern me, especially since Jigglypuff's Final Smash is just not good anyway, but it did get some changes here and there, I believe in patch 1 and then somewhere in like patch 11 or something like that. But I'll talk about most of the competitive viability things here. So first and foremost, that leads us to patch 2, where she got several significant changes here. She got her F tilt to have less end lag. That means when she uses the move, it can recover quicker so that she can use a different move or use that move again. She also got down tilt knockback scaling, which changed the way that the knockback happened from her down tilt, giving her some more usability with that, more like setups, combo ability, stuff like that. That's what scaling usually goes for. You had the up smash sour spot getting some more damage, which is always nice. Bear getting less startup and end lag is huge. Back air getting 2 frames of end lag being shaved off is fantastic. One of Jigglypuff's best moves in almost every Smash game she's ever been a part of is her back air. So seeing the back air get shaved off like this is really significant. And then the forward throw was changed, that the angle was much better to set up edge guards off stage, which is something she really needed. Now, these were good patches, a good amount of buffs for this patch. They weren't crazy, but they did a lot for the character. But it wasn't until later that Jigglypuff really started to get some momentum. This happened very first with just a very small change in patch 3.1, where her jabs got changed. So jab 1 and 2 had, they connected a little bit better, and jab 2 had a little bit more range, so it connected a little bit easier here. That's all she got in 3.1, but then in patch 6, things really started to take off for Jigglypuff. This was the biggest patch for her, in my opinion. I would assume most people that play Jigglypuff competitively. Her air dodge got less end lag, which is significant because her air dodge was the worst air dodge in the game in terms of recovery by a significant margin. So if you're not unaware, each character has different air dodge in the air, and you have a certain amount of like intangibility where you can't get hit. And Jigglypuff's, she would have that invincibility window, but then she'd be vulnerable for a very, very long time. They knocked off a lot of the end lag here, making a much better air dodge overall, made it much more viable to use as a strategy. Since Jigglypuff doesn't have an up B as a recovery move, this is a huge, huge boon for her, and she goes very high with her air dodge up, so this was a really big buff. Next, her Dare. This is probably the single best buff that Jigglypuff has ever gotten. Her Dare having less landing lag, with 3 frames shaved off. This not only changed like how Jigglypuff utilizes the move itself, this actually changes her entire combo game across the board, because Jigglypuff can now, as of patch 6, cancel the down air land with an auto cancel. If you're not familiar with that, an auto cancel is if you land with a certain in a certain frame window during a move, it actually cancels the end animation for it, so you can start doing something else immediately. It's a really useful tool for every single character. And now she could auto cancel her Dare out of short hop, which means that she could put on a lot of pressure with very little risk. And it also made it so you can combo Dare into itself multiple times. Some characters you can do big old loops of Dare. Made it a crazy combo tool. You also had the F throw angle get adjusted even more, getting a really harsh angle off stage. This is huge for Jigglypuff. Her whole strength is getting edge guards off stage, so having this F throw angle be so low is crazy. And I've seen this happen in tournaments where you get a F throw at ledge and the character is pretty much done unless the person makes a really good mix up on the recovery, because of Jigglypuff's airspeed and some of her active hitboxes she can throw out. The people are just losing stocks to F-throw exclusively. So this was a huge buff as well. Rollout got a little bit faster, which is fine, but Pound also got 2 extra hit stun frames, meaning that it takes 2 extra frames for the character that gets that shields Pound to act out of it, which is a huge thing. Again, allowing Jigglypuff to apply more pressure. So patch 6 was huge for Jigglypuff as a character. This changed her competitively for the rest of Ultimate's lifespan. At this point, Jigglypuff is considered, again, like middle of the road to like low high tier at this point, but we have seen some extreme highs as well. But I've not even talked about the final patch that gave her some even more fantastic tools here. This is patch 13. In patch 13, her jab 2 got less end lag by 3 frames, which is fine. You know, this made it so that she could apply more pressure, which again, this is what Jigglypuff does. She wants to apply pressure and be safe. So having less end lag on jab, even if it's just jab, is fine. It makes it so that she has a quick, fast tool on the ground to put on some pressure and keep going. But another thing that they ended up doing is shaved off 3 more frames of end lag on Bear. So again, Bear has always been her best move in a lot of these games. In Melee, it's one of her best poking tools. Having Bear lose 3 more frames of end lag is actually insane for a character like Jigglypuff. And they also changed the down throw to have lower base knockback, so it could like be a more combo setup tool. I think it's you can actually combo certain characters like heavies at low percents, which is fine, but it also sets up for more combo potential. So you can do frame traps and stuff like that with the down throw. So it's not just strictly a combo tool, and since it doesn't combo into a lot of the characters, the fact that you can set up for like whiff punishes or air dodge reads and stuff like that is still a significant thing. So at the end of all these patches, Jigglypuff ended up being a much better character in my opinion, and we have seen some very high highs. As of late, Base Mage, the best Jigglypuff player in the world, has beaten Ashimo at Cafeteria Cup, who is ranked number 15 in the world, and also Lima, who I believe is ranked 37, if I'm not mistaken, at Genesis X. 2 significant wins for the number 81 player in the world right now, as of the Lumi Rank 2024. Was 81 this year, was 80 last year, which is a crazy thing to only lose 1 spot as a Jigglypuff player. I haven't seen Base Mage at a whole lot of things, but he's been doing very well all the events that he does go to. He's been to Japan, he's been doing very well against, again, like Ashimo. He ended up being the best Ryu in the world, number 15 player. He's got some really fantastic wins, placing very high at a lot of tournaments, getting top 8s at some big major events. Base Mage shows that there is a lot of potential for this character. He was at one point ranked, I believe, 58 in the entire world. I think it was Ult Rank 2022. That is the best, the highest placing Jigglypuff, especially a solo Jigglypuff player, has ever done in Ultimate. So Jigglypuff can be a competitive thorn in your side, as it were. Base Mage has proved time and time again that he is able to reach these high highs and do a lot of work with this character as a solo main, which is really incredible. This character has been up and down throughout Ultimate's life cycle, but it looks like she's a pretty darn good character. In my opinion, I think Jigglypuff, when played at the level of Base Mage, she is definitely a high tier character. The fact that she can beat a lot of characters out just by getting like an F throw at the ledge, or just throwing out hitboxes off stage and utilizing her crazy airspeed, she can gimp your stocks really, really early. She's a very good character at that. She's also very light, and so she dies really early. She can, like, against like my character Luigi, she has a really good options for edge guarding, but if she gets into any kind of combo, she could die very, very early. I can like shave off an entire move on my down throw combo as Luigi to end up killing her at the same, like with the same amount of, one less move than I do for every single else. I don't have to get the landing up air. I can just land and do a grounded up B and kill her very early. Or I get a down throw at like 50 and get an up B in the air. There are lots of trade-offs with being such a beast at edge guarding. You have to sacrifice for something like your weight. It's very easy to apply pressure on Jigglypuff as well if she's sitting in shield. If her shield pops, she flies off the screen and instantly dies. It's not like any other character. It's really funny. It's like a balloon popping. So there are some drawbacks for Jigglypuff. She's not the best character, but I think high tier is the most accurate descriptor for her because she is so polarizing. She could like utterly destroy your character with just a few hits and like a one throw at the ledge, or she could get blown up really, really easily. I like that she is kind of balanced that way. She's a glass cannon, so if she hits you really hard, she hits you a couple times, you're dead, but if you get her in a short combo, she might be dead too. So I like the way that they've balanced Jigglypuff. I actually really like watching her play in Ultimate as well. My favorite player in Melee is Hungrybox, so I really like watching him play Jigglypuff in that game. So I like to see Jigglypuff make some waves in Ultimate. I haven't seen a whole lot as of late, but I do remember some of those highs. I remember Base Mage taking some games off some credible people at some big tournaments, and it's always fun to see. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.